How's it going there? It's Nathan Hawken and welcome to the video. So for today's video, I wanted to share 5 powerful lessons that I've learned after 11 years of being on my own growth journey. You know, when I think about it, 11 years. I started this when I was 30. At the time of recording this video, I'm now 41. And 11 years seems like it's gone by so quick, but I feel like I've learned so much. When I was 30, I had one of those times where I was in a very low spot. I didn't know how to handle my emotions. I know I wanted more in life. I had no idea what that was. And there were many, many times where I was in tears in my car on the side of a road when I was supposed to be working, just really struggling with life in general. I was never so down in the dumps like homeless or anything like that. I was always managed to have a job and provide for myself, provide for my wife, and just get through on the daily. But I did hit a good few times, and one time in particular, and this happened when I was 30, when I literally just broke down. I just didn't know how to handle life in general. I didn't know how to handle myself. I didn't feel like I was strong. I didn't feel like I was smart enough. And I really didn't think I would amount to much in my life in general. And I know I wanted more. I know I needed to make more money, but I had no idea how to do it. It was during that moment when I asked myself those big questions of, man, is this all there is to life? Is this everything that I'm going to have? All those type of things. And it was during that moment, that time, when an answer actually came back saying, no, there's more. Go and find it. And this was my unconscious mind talking to me. And that was the push that I needed to get out and at least start exploring what I could do to feel better. That was my own goal. That was my number one goal at the time, was just, how do I just no longer feel this anymore? You know, it's such a difficult and powerful question at the same time, because I didn't have any answers. I didn't know what to do, but it led me and started me on this journey to where I am now. So it's been 11 years. And as I said before, I've learned so much along the way. And what I wanted to do in this video was just share 5 of the most powerful lessons which I've learned in that period of time, as I've gone through my own personal development, my own professional development, as I came across coaching, as I uncovered my passion for serving people, and I made the decision to serve people at a deeper level through coaching. And it's the lessons that I bring into all of my coaching that I do on a daily basis with my clients, and I apply them as much as I can to myself, and I remind myself of these lessons as often as I can, which is difficult to do sometimes, because just because I've gone through 11 years of this type of growth doesn't mean I've got all the answers, and it doesn't mean I don't still struggle at times. I certainly know now I'm in a place of significantly more peace than I ever had in my life, and I'm significantly more comfortable in my own skin, in myself, in my being, to the point where I rarely get stressed out by anything, except the kids, you know, because they're still young and they know how to push buttons, but that's a different story. And so really, I look back and I connect all the dots, I piece all these things together, and I see how they're all connected. And that brings me a lot of joy, and that brings me a lot of happiness. So in a way to hope to serve you at a deeper level, I wanted to share these powerful lessons with you. So number 1 is, the journey out is always the journey in. I've heard this quote, I think it's a quote, I don't know exactly who said it first, but I've heard this, or interpretations of this, in one form or another many times throughout my growth, and it only really rang home in the last maybe 4 to 5 years. But with everything I've tried to do externally, make more money, be more successful in jobs, in current roles, to show up better, to show up stronger, to be more powerful, all those things, it's always gone back to working on myself, journeying inwards to ask myself the difficult questions, to find the challenging answers, to then do something with those answers to help me project forward. Everything begins with the inner work. Everything you want to accomplish in this external world out there begins with accomplishing what you need to accomplish inside you first. If you're holding yourself back, you need to learn things about yourself. If you've got struggles, if you've got pain, if you've got fear, you need to tackle that. You need to overcome that. You need to journey inwards so you can create what it is you want to create in the outside world. So my number one lesson is the journey out is in. I share this with all my coaching clients because it is the most important thing. So number 2 is to honor your struggle. When you're just going through life, generally speaking, life can be challenging and life can be tough. Even when it's comfortable, it can be tough because we've still got ourselves to live with, which is why lesson number 1 comes into it again as well. And when you take that step towards creating a better life for yourself, like I did when I was 30, having no idea what that was going to do or where I wanted to be, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a challenge because you have to become better. You have to learn more. You have to upskill. You have to work on yourself. You have to take the daily action. You have to do so many new things, which are quite possibly something you've never done before. So there's a transitional period, and it's an ongoing transitional period with every level of growth that you go through and the more awareness you raise for yourself. So it's not going to be easy, but you have to honor that struggle. You have to accept it, you have to honor it, and you have to understand that it's all a natural part of your own growth. And the more you can do that, the less resistance you push up against it. If you can just accept it and say, yep, this is my struggle, I have to go through this now for me to get to where I want to go. If you can acknowledge that, it can be one of the greatest lessons you'll ever learn. So the third lesson I've learned is to be good with where you are right now. That doesn't mean that you want to stay there or you're going to remain in your comfort zone and be stagnant or anything like that. It just means that whatever it is that you're working towards, whatever it is that you want to move towards, whatever your desired outcome or goals are, you still have to remember that you are where you are now, and you have to be good with that. Even if you're not making the money you want to make, even if you're not as emotionally stable as you want to be, even if you struggle with relationships and communications and fears and whatever it may be, you've got to be good with where you are and be good with yourself. This is part of being present. I don't know if you've been following my videos or you've been listening to other personal development, being present is very important. That takes on many different forms, but you have to be good with where you are and be present in this moment. A good friend of mine and I were speaking recently and we were talking about this topic in particular. And one of the things he said to me, which is great, he said, we're supposed to be human beings, but we're too busy being human thinkings and human doings. We're always thinking about the next thing to do. When we're walking down the street, we're always thinking about the show we want to watch or something else we need to do. We're always thinking about the next thing or things in the future, maybe even things from the past. Consistently and always thinking about stuff. Or we're always doing things. We're always doing something. We have to clean, we have to cook, we have to go to work, we have to do all these things. We're always thinking and we're always doing. And because we're doing all those things and we're thinking so much, we stop being human beings for a while. When we say human beings, that's just stopping and just being happy with who you are, being where you're at, and just enjoying the fact that you're here on this earth right now. That's one of the reasons why I really love going out and doing camping, going out into the woods and just sitting in silence all by myself, nothing but my thoughts, and just enjoying it out there, because it gives me the opportunity to just be outside of everything else and all my other responsibilities. So you really need to learn to be good with where you are right now. And so number 4 is to remember what's important in life. Remember what's important in your life and give it the time it needs to fill your cup, your spiritual cup, whatever it may be, your energy cup. Make room for those things which are important. One of the things that I personally find very important is connecting with nature and everything around us, which is what I would say the more real part of life. Getting out into nature, being around the fresh air, the trees, the earth, the ground, all of that. For me, that's real. Being around family, having that connection, that's what's important to me. That becomes very important the more I work towards the things I want to create as well. And it's disconnecting from the unnatural. We live in a world which is full of screens and computers and tech and phones, stuff on television which just warps your mind. You walk outside, especially if you're in a city, it's just filled with concrete and cars and metal and all this. I see all that as unreal. It's not the real world. The more we stay ingrained in that, or the more difficult it becomes to get out of it and get into the real. The more we can get into the real world, the more we can become part of who we are meant to be, become whole. So you have to really remember what's most important to you and what's most important in life beyond all the stuff and things which are put in front of us that we're told we need to have. And so the 5th lesson is this: You got to give yourself a break. You got to cut yourself some slack. I don't mean sit around on your hands all day long and do nothing. I mean, you've got to give yourself an emotional break. Never beat yourself up over your default programming of what you operate on currently. There's going to be things that you want to change, absolutely. But just because you're in a place now that isn't optimal for where you want to be, you've got to remember this is you now, today. So if you beat yourself up, you're beating up you for no apparent reason except to make yourself feel bad. When you beat yourself up like this, you discredit all the good things about you. And I can guarantee if you look at yourself, you sat down with a pen and piece of paper, wrote down all the amazing things about you and what you do, what you say, how you think, how you be, how you show up, everything that makes up you, you will see that it totally outweighs all the bad things that you do or all the negative things that you beat yourself up over. We get so programmed to think negatively about ourselves, about all the things that we're not doing, that we forget about all the amazing things that we do. And you, right now, do an incredible amount of things. And because you do all these amazing things, your perspective can be changed on the things which you see that you're not doing so well. So you really need to give yourself that break. One of the greatest lessons you can ever learn is to give yourself a break. Don't waste time and energy on beating yourself up over stuff which you can't change immediately. You can take steps to change, but this is where you're at now. This is your current default programming, if you will. If you're not happy with it, that's fine. You can do something about it, but you can't beat yourself up over it. It's just how you currently are now. You can always change, and that's what growth and raising awareness is all about. Now, I know I said I had 5 powerful lessons, but I was thinking of one just before I started filming the video, and I wanted to give you a 6th bonus lesson. And it's this. Learn to be the observer in life. What I mean by that is there's so many things out there which are striving for your attention, which are trying to divide you against your fellow man. It's either black or white, red or blue, X or Y. And there's so many disagreements that we can get into based on our level of belief, political views, whatever it may be out there. And everyone thinks that they're going to be right. And you may think that too. It's like you either believe this and you're right, or the other person believes this and they're right. When in reality, no one's right. It's just a difference of opinion. So a very strong lesson, and this is something I've really learned and adopted in the last few years myself, is to be an observer. Sit back on the sideline and just watch those things play out. Observe what's happening, but don't participate. Let me just make sure you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying do nothing. I'm not saying sit on the sidelines and do nothing, just wait for everything to come to you. I just mean when it comes to those things which are going to strive for your attention and take you off path to the things that you want to do, when it comes to disagreements with your fellow man, when it comes to different belief systems clashing, whatever the circumstance is, make the decision not to participate and just observe. Observe those things, understand what's going on, learn what you need to learn, and then forge your own path and stay on track with that. So as I said at the beginning of this video, that was 6 very powerful lessons which I've learned over my journey over the last 11 years. I know I'm going to learn a whole bunch more as I progress moving forward, and I know you've learned your own lessons. If you've learned any lessons which you want to share, please leave a comment below. I would love to learn from them and love to hear about them. If you are interested in speaking with me further, you can email me. My details are in the description below. If you're enjoying my content and you'd like to subscribe to my Patreon, the details are below as well. And if you're interested in doing some one-on-one coaching, I would love to have a conversation with you to see if it's something that aligns for both of us. And you can do that through sending me an email. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it has served you at some level, and I wish you all the best moving forward. Thank you.